Hi, welcome back to Retro Rewind, and in this video we're taking a look at Auto Modellista, a PlayStation 2 title from 2002. It's one, I believe, if not the last Capcom title that they were involved in with regards to a racing title. It's an unusual title without a shadow of a doubt, Auto Modellista. As you can see, the visual style is quite unusual in its approach. It's cel-shaded graphics, which give it that kind of hand-drawn, semi-cartoon look. And personally, I think it looks absolutely stunning. Particularly the car models. The car models I actually think still stand up to looking good even in this day and age. The main thing that dates and ages it more than anything else is the backgrounds and the environments. You know, they're full of jagged edges and shimmering, and that ages it without a shadow of a doubt. But being perfectly honest, if you fix that up the resolution on it overall, you've got a title that would stand up, I think, today. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous, and I think it's a very unique look, and I really like the way that they've done things with, you know, the flashes as your car's moving dynamically and things like that to help give it a sense of speed. And I think it really is a stunning looking title. It's an unusual title in the fact, particularly for its day and age, most of the content is unlocked from the very beginning. There's only a few cars and one track that's locked away at the start, and the main aim behind it in its core, what's called garage mode element for the single player, is actually unlocking items to allow you to then basically customise and dress up a virtual garage to store your cars in, which is quite an unusual idea, and it makes it a little bit more of a collection game than a racing game. It took a lot of stick at launch because of the handling. It actually requires you to slow down for corners and things like this, and use of the handbrake has to be fairly judicious, otherwise you're going to end up facing the wrong way, and the AI is very rubber bandy in both directions, and that wasn't what people expected from a title that definitely looks arcade-like, a more simulation type. It's not a sim, let's be perfectly clear, but a more simulation type approach, the fact that you actually have to slow down for corners and things like that. I never really personally had an issue with the gameplay and handling on it. I actually think it plays well, and I really enjoy Auto Modellista. The main issues I had with it back when it first came out and came flooding back as I started playing it again are basically twofold. One, the AI is extremely easy to beat in the vast majority of circumstances. They don't provide a great deal of a challenge, which does make it a little bit boring in that regard. But perhaps its biggest shortcoming of all is the absolute lackluster track count on it. So what it gets right in terms of the tracks is it's got Suzuka as a real-world location on there, which is quite interesting. It's got two Togu point-to-points on there, which can be run either uphill or downhill, which are very nice, and in all honesty about the most interesting tracks in it. But once you get away from those three locations, that's it. It's then got three, I think, off the top of my head, Japanese highway type locations, two of which are vaguely interesting, one of which is basically just a big square that you race around, and they're just incredibly dull, and the AI are incredibly poor on these three locations, and that's pretty much it. That's your lot basically. So it really does suffer from a dearth of tracks, and also from the lack of AI opposition. One thing I forgot to mention that is very good in it as well is the amount of tune-up and what they call dress-up you can do on the vehicles as well. So there's an awful lot of customisation you can do to the vehicles, both visually, so you can body kit them to hell, put massive spoilers on them, and they really do look like little cartoon race cars then, and again, it's the bit I love about this title. But you can also modify the cars from a performance point of view with just about everything from tyres to exhausts, to engine swaps. So it's got full engine swaps in it. Not every car, but it's got engine swaps in there, which is cool. And almost all of them are licensed products. It's got a very basic decal editor in there, which for its time was quite unusual. You can even put windscreen banners on there, decals all over the car, manufacturer stickers, custom tuner stickers, all of this kind of stuff, which is it gives a lot of depth to it on that side, and it's almost as though the kind of like modifications, the dress up, the garage life, they went to town on that, and somebody at the end went, we don't actually have any tracks or a decent AI, and they're like, well, got a deadline to meet, boys, pop it out anyway. And it really suffered as a result of that, which is a shame. One thing it did also have, which was quite unusual, was what they call their VJ, or video jockey mode, which allows you to save replays and then play around with them and edit them and splice them and add effects to them within the title itself. So it kind of predicted people like me doing crap like this on YouTube back in 2002. You couldn't share them back then, but, you know, you could still do it. So it's ahead of its time in that regard. So, you know, personally, I would love to see another Auto Modellista released with a really generous track count on it and, you know, some nice high-res cel-shaded graphics on it. I think that's a title that people would buy. Or that might just be me anyway. But there we go. That's Auto Modellista for the PS2. I believe it also came out on the GameCube as well afterwards, but I've never personally seen it running on the GameCube. But there we go. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please do hit the like button, and if you want to see more content like this, subscribe away and hit the bell icon to be notified when content gets uploaded. Thanks very much. Bye.